Hello and welcome to the National Railway Museum. In this video, we're taking a look at the oldest broad gauge locomotive in the museum's collection, RX 93. Originally carrying the number R93 and with a 460 wheel arrangement, this locomotive entered service with the South Australian Railways on the 29th of March 1886. It had been built by Dubbs & Co of Glasgow, Scotland in the previous year. It was one of 6 delivered at the time, and weighing in at just over 88 tonnes, they were the largest and heaviest locomotives to have been built for South Australia up to that point. A total of 30 R-class locomotives were built over the next decade, with 24 being built locally by James Martin & Co in Gawler. Used primarily for goods haulage over the steeply graded Main South line, they were also soon hauling the Intercolonial Express between Adelaide and Melbourne, often double-headed, on the South Australian side of the border. As traffic grew and additional broad gauge locomotives were required, a further 54 similar locomotives were built between 1909 and 1916. They were built by the SAR's Islington workshops, Walkers Limited in Queensland, and the North British Locomotive Company in Glasgow, Scotland. They were of an improved design with a larger boiler and became the RX class. Between 1899 and 1913, as the original R-class locomotives fell due for overhaul, they were all rebuilt with larger boilers and reclassified as RX. Number 93 was reissued to traffic as RX 93 after rebuilding on the 4th of November 1910. As built, the R-class were equipped with 6-wheel tenders, but with the introduction of the first RX class engines in 1909, 8-wheel tenders became standard. RX 93 retained its 6-wheel tender for much of its career. Early 1950s, it received a replacement from an engine that had been written off. The RX class was a most successful design, and for many years they were the mainstay for hauling all mainline traffic in South Australia. It was not until the arrival of much larger locomotives from 1926 onwards that the RX class began to be displaced from these duties. They remained an important part of the locomotive fleet, working over branch lines, hauling local passenger trains and shunting in freight yards. It was only with the advent of diesel locomotives from the 1950s onwards that their numbers began to dwindle as withdrawals began. RX 93 continued in service until 1966, eventually covering over 2 million kilometres in service with the South Australian Railways. On the 28th of September 1966, it was placed in the Mile End Railway Museum and was formally written off a few weeks later on the 28th of October. Though no longer operational, in its 100th year, RX93 was moved from the Mile End Museum to take part in and spend several days at the head of South Australia's 150th Jubilee Anniversary trade train at the Keswick Passenger Terminal. As well as RX93, several other RX locomotives survive in static preservation around the state. There are also two operational examples, RX207 and RX224, which have been preserved by Steam Ranger and can often be seen in action in the cooler months on their heritage railway between Mount Barker and Victor Harbour. Come down to the National Railway Museum to see RX93 up close, as well as all of the other exciting exhibits that we have here. We're open every day except Christmas Day and from midday on Anzac Day. As always, keep an eye on our website for more details.